Hello guys from Open Gate, everything is fine with you, with us, everything is okay. Renato is there in the corner, Naldo is already preparing the girl to bring us. Guys, it's a case of a nail in the hoof. Well, Naldo is walking the animal and I'm going to try to show you how much the animal was limping. Just look at how this animal was feeling its hoof. My God, guys. Well, complicated case, the animal stepped on a nail, a huge nail, and Renato will be here evaluating it, and apparently she stepped on it yesterday. Well, the nail, is the nail here around? Well, it's here. Well, she stepped on the nail yesterday and, well, the things here got complicated, guys. See here? Well, you can see where is the hole. Renato will put the nail in the hole. He will not create it inside, you know. He will just leave it at the tip, so you can see where the spot went. You can see it was a nail that was about this thick, because it's a nail that's going in easily, because it was yesterday. If 2 or 3 days hadn't passed, the hoof would probably ended up remodeling, ended up closing on top of what it is. We can see this hole very clearly, wide open, because if 2 to 3 days had passed that this had already happened, or more than that, the hoof would start to remodel and tighten the hole. Not that it would cover it, but it would start to remodel the hole, and we couldn't find it very well. It's what happens, and this time it appeared correctly. As we say, we went to handle another horse, and he said that this animal had an accident yesterday, and that he had ridden it around noon, and around 3 o'clock in the afternoon the animal laid down and saw that he had a nail. Well, he said that for us it got very much stuck. It was like 2 to 3 fingers inside of the hoof, so he was worried about it. And the preoccupation, the concern of touching the bone in relation to the phalanx in the third bone of the hoof that is more flattened. Maybe touching there, and in this region here it is a little more difficult, but it has always gone in very deep. So as he said, but what we have here is a lot of irrigation, so it is very difficult to take care of this hoof in this case and get 100% of results, you know. But he already communicated with the veterinarian, and the veterinarian gave the medicine and said what he had to do. So I'm going to do some light hoofing today. I can't remove much of the hoof, because if I cut too much of the hoof and leave it short, I'm leaving this hole closer and closer to the ground with a lot more pressure. So I needed to leave it a little bigger here below, and I think it's a good strategy in this case. So here let's start cleaning here and then give it a makeover. I'm going to do some light cleaning here today. I can't remove much of this. So guys, you have seen the difficulty, and it is already inflamed. So we have an inflammation. He started the medication and the animal is feeling, but this is part of the animal. There is a lot pulse alteration here, and the animal is feeling it a lot. It's really easy to see that things are not good. Do you think that will come out some liquid, or that we're gonna have some abscess here? Probably some abscess, some inflammation. Well, we always say that this is an inflammation that's going to happen, and it's going to come. Well, and these things, they are going to be making this get out. All the soul here is going to get out if we do not treat it well. And after the hoof starts growing back, we will be prepared to start doing the hoofing again. But this process is very slow and is inside the hoof, this process. And this explanation that Renato passed for us, it is really good, because many people ask for us how this ends up making foam. So this is a classic case of this. We have a foreign object, a stone or a nail, a screw enters the hoof, causes an infection, and this infection sometimes it can't come out from below, and it goes up and ends up coming out in the crown of the hoof. And this is a typical case where inflammation will happen even with the medication. You know, this will happen. So Renato will do the cleaning as much as possible so we can be helping this girl. And it seems like there is something else there, Renato, but in fact it is the inflammation's way out. Renato, you open it up a little more like this will make it easier for the inflammation to come out and even end up coming out. This is the facilities. We are making in the hoof, although sometimes we don't have the necessary material to leave the hoof right and keep it closed without entry of dirt. Because the truth is that it was supposed to be closed so that dirt wouldn't get in. Look at the hoof infection, the black one, and it's gone from that white or yellowish infection, like that abscess infection. So with this one, we have this one that's dark, turns dark, ends up bursting in some. When I squeeze the animal's hooves, it feels, and this is causing a lot of pain on the animals. This opening makes it easier. Sometimes people say, when it happens, well, I'm going over what I learned, you know. When a horse happens to get... Where's the nail? When a horse happens to get a nail in and you find a nail in an animal's hoof, two corrective things to do. One of them is, depending on the situation, do not remove the nail and take it to a veterinarian hospital where you have an x-ray and they can remove the nail. X-ray with a nail to see where it is and get the right medicine in the place for that location, because there is also risk of the region where the nail is between the height and the place, when most of the time people do not evaluate this. It is very difficult to what? When you are going to remove the nail, mark the place where it is and try to remove this. So it's damp, mark it and take a photo or film it to see the place where you removed the nail, and the height already does that. So, in the photo, so you can pass it on to the vet. Look at this, and that happened, and from the place through the filming, it will be easier to gain knowledge about the right place and the correct treatment for the hoof. For example, here we know the place, but we don't know the height. So, that's our problem here. We really don't know the height of this, but what I know, looking for the anatomy of the hoof, it could be affected. And in this case, this is a work that the veterinarian should do and give the medicine. See, we are getting a lot of results. The advantage is that it is wide open and this will gradually leak out. And now the animal will release the weight on top and ended up releasing everything. In this situation, the animal fights himself. So it is very difficult because the pain in the animal is very great. Well, it will avoid placing his limb on the ground as much as possible, but if he continues with the medicine as he's doing and use the product as permanganate, which is a cheap and very good product for using it, it will help a lot to reduce this and release this infection. Look, today I practically did what was not classifying as a hoofing, but I used a strategy to leave the hoof higher from the ground. Well, it's true that it's not stepping on the ground, but when the animal steps on the ground, it will have a curve here that will reduce the pressure with the wound. So it's like a horse hole. When the animal is better and healed, stepping firmly, we will do the proper hoofing on the animal, a good trimming. That's it, guys. Now the wheel now. Put the animal in its place. Notice how the animal is moving and its hoof is feeling a lot. See, it is just throwing its rear here. It's feeling a lot, and that's because Renato took the measure that alleviates the pain a little, weight, and will expel the inflammation out. That's it, folks. It worked out for us to be here and to help this girl here. stay there to warn the people who are watching us, guys. This is for you guys to remember this warning. Always keep an eye on the pasture, removing wires, nails, screws. Anyone who is in the pasture has to take these things out, because this can happen. I hope you enjoyed this video. Everyone stay with God. Till next time, God willing. Our motto is to listen to those who have no voice to be heard.